Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you for today's episode of Realtor Man Dan. Today, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to look at a different side of the real estate game. We're going to bring in Dennis Brown, one of the most infamous and knowledgeable people in the mortgage industry that you can have. We're going to have a very frank but brief conversation with Mr. Brown and talk to him about some of the processes of getting approved, getting your feet wet, and understanding where to go with the mortgage process en route to finding the house that you want either now or in the future. Real quick, though, a couple things before we get into the topic of today's show. If you haven't yet subscribed to Realtor Man Dan, please consider doing so. Also, if you would, while you're watching the videos, if you would hit the thumbs up button, I surely would be thankful. Last but never least, if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call. Shoot me a text, 269-998-2384. You can send a carrier pigeon or whatever you need to do. Just go ahead and reach out to me. Let me see if I can use over 30 years of experience in the industry to your behest. Maybe we can save you some money either on the purchase or sale of that commercial property, vacant land, new house, secondary house. You get the gist. Whatever it is, let me see if I can help you out. Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, left side of the state, right side of the state. I cover it all. So give me a call and let's see what we can do to help you out. All right, now, without further ado, I want to bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dennis Brown. Here we go. Dennis, how are you doing today?
Dan, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
I want to thank you for taking a little time. I get you're busy. I get you're dealing with snowstorms and everything else this time of year, but I wanted to thank you for joining the show. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible. I get most people like to keep, 10, 15-minute videos. But Dennis, you see all sorts of different deals, and not just in Michigan. I want to make sure I point that out for anybody watching. Dennis can deal with people across the great country of anywhere, California, New York, and Texas. You get the gist, anywhere thereabouts. So, Dennis, I'm going to ask you a couple different topics. Feel free to shoot from the hip. Tell us what you think about these different topics and help our viewing audience out in understanding the process to getting approved. All right, let's start out here with getting a pre-approval or full approval. Can you explain to us briefly the differences in the two?
Absolutely, yeah. So if I was looking to purchase a home and I was really interested in accomplishing this in the near future, first thing I would do is speak with a lender and get pre-approved. Okay. One thing that's awesome at Contour Mortgage is we have a program called the Secure Buy program. Not everyone offers this program. I highly recommend it. But basically, once you speak with a lender and get pre-approved, we can turn your pre-approval into a full approval that you get to shop with. So a pre-approval is you've spoken with a loan officer, they've pulled your credit, they've got your documents, maybe some income and asset documents. They've ran you through the underwriting system so you can have an automated approval. And in the loan officer's opinion, you have a great chance of getting a mortgage and getting an approval. Step in the Secure Buy program where we take that pre-approval at absolutely no cost to our clients. So our realtor partners really love this, and so do our clients. It's a huge benefit and value to them. But we take that pre-approval, we send it through processing and underwriting. So it takes a lot of work. And with this, you can shop around with a loan commitment and approval and really stand out to sellers. And we're finding that our buyers are sometimes getting better deals and being a little bit more competitive and attractive to sellers in multiple offer situations. So that is the biggest difference and one thing that we do offer at Contour Mortgage Corporation.
Now, you bring up the multiple offer situation. I know, back in the day, maybe that wasn't the case, but it does seem like nationwide for maybe the last 3 to 4 years, that has been the case, especially at different price points. How advantageous is it for you as a would-be buyer to have that fully approval when you put your offer in so you can make yourself stand out from perhaps other people who only have a partial approval or soft approval?
It means a lot. So you're seen by an underwriter, you've got a full package in, all your mortgage documents that you might need to be seen by an underwriter, and they've granted an approval. Okay, so as a buyer, I am fully confident in my ability to be able to close a loan. You still have an appraisal and title work, but on the buyer side, the buyer has done the work and they have an approval, and it makes them feel a lot better about their situation, because buying a home is super exciting, but it can also be stressful applying for a mortgage and moving and whatnot. So it grants the buyer a rest easy kind of, hey, my financial situation is in place and I'm approved up to X amount for X amount of loans. Now enter the seller. When you have, let's just put yourself in a seller's shoes. Let's say you have 10 offers, right? And you have people pre-approved and you see a full approval, maybe in the same amount, in the same ballpark. It kind of speaks volumes to you and stands out. Hey, this buyer is very serious and they've already gotten approval. They might even close even faster. We should definitely consider this offer.
Okay. Yeah, I think you had some good points there. So, again, just kind of a hypothetical situation. If I'm a seller and I have, say, 5 offers, and my agent, my realtor can say, hey, this one's fully approved. There's no question marks here. These other guys, they've only been, soft approved, somewhat approved. There could be some issues here potentially. So I get your point there. All right, let's go on to another topic here. This will be a big one for a lot of people. Debt to income ratio. I get a lot of people, especially if you're new to the process of getting an approval for a mortgage or maybe an auto loan or whatever it may be, maybe don't consider these factors. Could you real quickly just kind of go over how your debt to income ratio will impact your ability to buy?
Yes, so debt to income ratio is super important. It's how mortgage loan officers and lenders qualify applicants based off traditional mortgages. So these are your standard qualified mortgages. They're conventional FHA, USDA rural development, and VA. So when we're qualifying for these specific loan programs with the better terms, we qualify on a debt to income ratio. And all that means is it's your gross monthly income against any debt that shows on your credit report, and also including the new mortgage payment and any other legal debts you may have. So this is how we say someone is pre-approved for 100,000, 250,000, 500,000, $1 million. It's based off their income, correlating against any debt that shows on their credit report and that potential housing payment.
Okay, I think you did a great job explaining that very easy to digest. Real quick, let's go to loan types. I get there's all sorts of different loan types. Can you give us maybe just a quick rundown of perhaps the more common ones people can encounter?
So super quick here, conventional loans. These are going to be the most strict on the credit report. So someone who maybe missed a payment here recently in the past year or two or has collections might have a hard time getting pre-approved for a conventional loan. Sellers love this loan program because it typically means the buyer has fair to excellent credit. It also means that the appraisal is going to be the less, I would say, strict regarding the property conditions. So versus the other loan programs that I'll discuss, the next 3, this one's a little bit more relaxed on the condition of the property and sometimes can close a little bit faster. You have lower down payment options for first-time home buyers, and there's a lot of benefits to getting a conventional loan. Enter the next loan program, FHA. This is the Federal Housing Administration. It's a great program, starting at 3.5% down. Regarding that, it's going to be a little bit more strict on the property requirements. And it's to protect the buyer. So basically, they're not going to allow peeling paint, any kind of health and safety issues or concerns. The appraiser might flag that and ask for it to be repaired. And that also correlates with the 2 other loan programs, which is your VA loan. That is for qualified veterans. There's specific requirements for those. Those start at 0% down. There's no PMI. It's an amazing program. And then the last one I want to talk about for government loans was USDA rural development. That's the United States Department of Agriculture. That starts at 0% down. It's only in rural areas. They have an address for eligible properties, so we'll check that. Right. But regarding that, similar property requirements, strict to make sure it is in a good condition for the buyer to occupy.
Okay, thanks for that. And then let's move on to the next topic here. Looking for homes within the terms of the pre-approval. What do you mean by that, Dennis?
This one is super important and it doesn't always happen perfectly. So let's just go ahead and pretend that I'm pre-approved and I am pre-approved for an FHA loan up to $200,000, right? Okay. When I'm looking at properties, I might not know, but my realtor might be able to see that specific homes, especially in Michigan, sellers are allowed to market their home to any type of financing that they choose, right? So maybe there's major issues with a home and they know it won't pass financing and it's cash only, and sellers aren't willing to make those repairs to have it financeable, then it might be cash only. It might not be a good idea for me to go take a tour of that home if I am pre-approved for an FHA loan, right, just because it might be a potential stressful situation where I love it and I can't get it. So being able to work with a trusted realtor who can get you up on a home search and make sure that it makes sense for you to go see is super important. Like I said, it's super exciting to buy a home. It can be stressful too. The most important thing is looking at the right homes that meet those parameters. Your loan program, your purchase price, things like that are super important.
Okay. Let's move on to the next topic here. Listening to your lending team and realtor. So I get anybody who's going out looking to buy a property, especially if they're new to the process, everything's happening so fast. You're inundated with information, probably struggle to process really all the different information coming at you. So what would you say about once you've selected a realtor or a lender, what are some key points in both topics that a newer buyer should pay attention to?
This is a great topic. So once you've found the right home, or even if you're searching for the right home, listening to your lending team and realtor is going to be super important to having the smoothest and the least stressful transaction, right? Because on a mortgage, there could be 50 things that have to go right for you to close that mortgage. And same on the real estate side, right? You have earnest monies, you have deadlines, you have that purchase agreement, you have a potential contingencies, inspections. So it's super important to be dialed in and listening to your lending team and your realtor to make sure you're hitting those milestones within your contract. Regarding a mortgage, there's many things that need to go right for you to be able to close that mortgage, and listening to your loan officer regarding not pulling your credit, not quitting or switching your job, right? Not buying a new car or a boat before you close.
Not quitting your job.
That can deny a mortgage. So making sure that you're listening to them and treat them like you would kind of like a lawyer, right? In regards to they're in your best interest. I would tell them pretty much everything that they need to know. I wouldn't hide anything from your lending team. I would be upfront and forward with them, and same with your realtor, so that they can work with you to make sure that you have a successful transaction, and so that there are no surprises prior to the finish line. Super important.
Excellent information. All right, Dennis, if somebody watching the video wants to get in touch with you, maybe ask a few questions, reach out to you, gain your insight and wisdom, how would they go ahead about contacting you?
You can please give me a call or shoot me a text. My cell phone number is 714-496-8561. You can reach me at my email. It is dbrown@contourmtg.com. My office is in downtown Kalamazoo at 200 East Michigan Ave, Unit 202. That's Kalamazoo, Michigan, 49007. We are located right above the new Saga Tuck Brewery in the heart of downtown Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Well, Dennis, I want to thank you for taking a little time on your busy day to join us here on Realtor Man Dan. And again, if you're looking for a realtor anywhere in the state of Michigan, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text. You'll see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let me use over 30 years of work within the industry to your behest, save you some money on either the sale or purchase of a property. Dennis, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Everybody out there in the viewing audience, we'll see you on the next Realtor Man Dan. Take care.
Thanks so much, Dan.